How are you? Happy Monday. I'm Cindy Baker, ADHD productivity coach, and we have a great training today. We're going to talk about how to avoid overwhelm in small business or in business, period. If you're an entrepreneur, if you own your business, if you work in someone else's business, there can be overwhelm. So that's what we're going to talk about. Now, this is part one, and part two will be next time because I have lots of tips. And so if you are jumping on live, if you could say hi in the chat, let me know that you're here. That would be great. Let me get my tech stuff fixed here. Yeah, and a lot of people watch this as a replay. So whatever platform you're watching on, let me know. And while you are doing that, I did want to let you know that Thursday I am hosting the Distraction to Action workshop. And that is an awesome interactive live workshop. You can still get in at the early bird price of just $47. It's about 2.5 to 3 hours, but there are breaks and it's very interactive. The time will just fly by. It's not me talking the whole time. You'll be on Zoom with other people participating. You have a workbook you get to keep. We're going to talk about distractions, motivation, how emotions can get in the way of your productivity, how to schedule according to your values, specific hacks for certain distractions, and way more. So it is going to be awesome. And I will put that link in the chat. And if you're curious and you don't see that link, just shoot me an email at cindy@cindybakercoaching.com. So let's get into it. Again, say hi if you're jumping on live. Hi. Hey, everybody. Good to see you. Let me get a drink here. Okay. Because if you're a small business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, there are often too many ideas, right? Too many tasks, too many projects, and not enough time, not enough resources. This is what I hear over and over. Entrepreneurs, whether you have ADHD or not, we're a creative bunch of people, and we always are thinking of new ideas. But those ideas, great though they may be, can lead you to feeling overwhelmed. So if you're dealing with overwhelm or you're letting that slow you down, I don't know anybody that it doesn't feel time constrained sometimes. We all live really busy lives. And if you run your own business, then you are extra busy. Believe me, I know. So I'm going to share some tips that I've heard along the way, some of my own tips. And many of these tips are from an article that I read by Karen Greenstreet. So I want to give her credit. And you have to understand why you're feeling overwhelmed too. A lot of entrepreneurs tell me that they're feeling overwhelmed. And it doesn't matter whether your business is brand new or if you're 20 years old. There are things, lots of different things to juggle at the same time as a business owner. So you're not alone in feeling this way. And there are a lot of common reasons that we feel overwhelmed. One is that we're trying to be everything to everyone, trying to focus on too many things at one time. Maybe we're too optimistic about how much time it's going to take. I've spoken about this before. People with ADHD always underestimate how long something will take. Maybe you're adding too many appointments and projects to your schedule. I talk about this a lot too, that people with ADHD tend to get overcommitted. Maybe you're not saying no to people and projects that you should be. And you notice all these things are a choice, right? It's easy to blame it on outside circumstances, but they're really all a choice. Every time you make a choice to do too much, then you make a choice to feel overwhelmed. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is, because you are in control. You're in control of your calendar. You're in control of which projects are your top priority. And it may not feel that way, but especially if you own the business, and guess what? You're the boss. You're in control of your thoughts about your business, and you're even in control about whether you how you handle distractions, whether you answer a ringing phone or not. The power is in your hands. So it's important to know that, because you have to admit that you can't do it all. you know, you can't do your to-do list that's 6 typed pages long in one day. Every time I have a brilliant idea for a new project, I add it to a list, an ideas list. But if I added that to my to-do list, then the more that I add to the list, the more overwhelmed I feel. So, sometime back, I realized I'm never going to be finished with this giant long to-do list. Things just kept staying on there. I'm always going to have new projects that I want to add, and I'm always going to have maintenance tasks that need to be performed, right? Managing emails, that's always going to happen. You're always going to have phone calls, things like that. And so once I understood that I'm never going to get it all done, then, I had to take that step to acknowledge that I can't do it all myself. Excuse me. Either I have to delegate projects and tasks, or I have to delete them. And in my coaching program, we take a deep dive into prioritizing and using the Eisenhower matrix, where you're categorizing things according to urgency and importance. But if you're really serious about not feeling burned out and overwhelmed, then the first place to start making cuts is in your to-do list. This is one of the things that I do to help me stay on top. And when I'm dealing with overwhelm, you've heard the phrase, do it, ditch it, or delete it, right? So you either do it, you schedule it to be done, or you do it right away, or you take it off your list, or you delegate it. And taking it off your list doesn't mean you never do it. You can put things in an idea file and then schedule, that's right, schedule a time once a month to go through your ideas file, and then schedule certain tasks to get 1 or 2 of those projects done. So, all this stuff takes some time to get used to, and there's a lot more we can say about it, but if you can do it, the outcome is going to be this feeling of mastery over your workload and your time and your energy. And that's what we want, right? And you'll be in control of your calendar and your to-do list, instead of feeling like they're controlling you. That's one of the greatest things that I hear from clients when they talk about their time in my coaching program, is that they feel like they're back in control, And so these are some tips. Again, some of these are from Karen Greenstreet. The first thing she says to do is calm down, because you can't do any of these tips if you're feeling stressed. So again, in my coaching program, stress reduction is one of the things that we talk about. And I could do a whole session on that, and I think I have in the past. But do like 5 minutes of something relaxing before you jump into any of these other things, these organizing tips, because when you're dealing with overwhelm, piling more on top of it is not going to work. So slow down for a few minutes, take a deep breath, and then pick one of these tips and try it. But first you got to calm yourself, right? So another tip is to set priorities and goals. And I just mentioned priorities, but a lot of people do yearly planning, where you want your business to be in 12 months. I would start with 12 weeks. What's most important right now to get you to your 12-week goal. So pick just 3 goals for 12 weeks. And if you complete it, then you can always add more later. But I would start with just 3. And And we're not talking about a quarter of a year, I'm talking about the 12-week year. Brian Moran wrote a book, The 12-Week Year, and it's, I think that's the name of it. In fact, I have it right here. Let me look. Yeah, 12-week year. And it's just that idea of creating urgency, because you don't have a whole year. You've just got 12 weeks. And that helps. And when you're doing your to-do list, I mean, there's some ADHD coaches that say, don't have a to-do list. I'm not one of those. I think a to-do list is fine. But if you're going to have one, whether it's on paper or if you're at your desk most of the day and you have like a to-do file right on your computer that you can easily access and update, whether it's on your smartphone, notebook, planner, whatever, make sure that you can get your hands on it quickly and easily. So this year I'm using a paper planner again, and I always have it right here by my computer. But you want to, if a new idea comes up, then you've got a place to put it down right away instead of trying to like hold it in your head. And that's one of the things that I always recommend, is write everything down. All right, the fourth tip is focus. One of the things we work on in my coaching program, but choose one task and focus just on that one task until it is complete. I know it's tempting, multitask. Stop that. Stop multitasking. It's only going to lead you to feel more overwhelmed. Now, you can take breaks. That's important. But stay with one thing. And along with that, another tip that I always share is set a timer. I'm big on timers. If you have ADHD, then you don't see time with natural hours and minutes like broken up. So having that timer instills a sense of urgency to work on one task for 20 minutes and then take a break. And every week work for 5 minutes extra if you want to, like 25 minutes instead of 20. I'd cut it off at 30. I wouldn't work more than 30 without a break. But to help rebuild your focus, sustained attention span and your ability to concentrate, you have to practice that. You have to build that skill. Attention deficit disorder, I don't like that, because we don't have a deficit of attention. We just focus on too many things at one time. So if you can train yourself to focus on one thing until that timer goes off, you're gonna see a huge difference. Pay attention to when you start to become distracted, and then work with your natural biorhythm to take mini breaks when you need them. Most adults, even ADHD ones, can pay attention, sustained attention for 20 minutes before becoming distracted. And then most adults can renew their attention to a task after being distracted too. If you find that that's hard to do, then put a sticky note where you left off so you go immediately right back to it. Use a timer, 20-minute work segments. You can do the Pomodoro method if that's what you want to do. I've talked about that before. But know how long things take to do. You might even want to do a time audit for like a month. A lot of us assume tasks are going to take less time than they actually do, especially if it's something we don't really like. We'll block off 15 minutes for something and then discover that it takes 30 minutes actually. And if you do that over and over all day, it's going to mess you up big time. So whatever you think a task will take, until you get this down a little better, double it. Double that time. Whatever time you think a task will take, double it until you really get a handle on estimating time accurately. That way you're not going to add too many things to your calendar. You're going to feel less stressed because you're going to know that you've given adequate time to every task. Plus, there's a nice, added cushion of time for a little break, right? And to catch your breath and get a little organized. Another tip to help you overcome that that feeling of overwhelm when you're a business owner is to simplify. Is your business too complicated? Sometimes less is more. Maybe some of your manual tasks could be automated. Take a deep look at everything that you do in your business and ask yourself, is there a better, easier way to do it? Is there a piece of software that could do a task for you? If you're interested in a software platform that's all in one, that could eliminate a lot of the software you're probably paying for right now, let me know. I'd like to talk to you about what I'm using, which I love. And it does funnels, a CRM, your email, your calendar, everything, invoices, all in one place. So anyway, I don't want to take the time to talk about that here, but if that's something you're looking for, I can help you out with that at a really good price. Another tip is to know your productivity peak. When is your best, most productive time? When's your most creative time? Mine's in the morning. That's the time when I'm mentally the sharpest, when I'm the most creative. And so I use that time to work with things that require deep thought, writing, creating, a lot of times teaching classes or workshops. But know yourself and know your personal productivity peak times. And that's going to help you be more productive and help you produce better quality work. So use that non-peak time for like maintenance things that don't require as much brain power or willpower. The little piddly things that have to get done. And number, I don't know what number I'm on, 8 or 9. Give yourself the gift of distraction. Now, sometimes we push ourselves too hard. Owning a business is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So every few hours, you need to take a break. Take a break from your work. Step outside the front door, get a breath of fresh air, play some music, play with your dog, go for a walk. Read something that doesn't have anything to do with work. Have coffee with a friend. Do anything that takes your heart and mind away from business. Schedule that, because you're going to be rewarded with a clear mind and a fresh perspective when you get back to work. Now, another tip, and I've done a lot of trainings on this, and I have lots in my coaching program on this, but get rid of clutter, digital and physical. For many people, there are just too many things in your visual field of focus. And when that's the case, it's hard for your brain to concentrate on the task at hand. If out of sight means out of mind to you, and so you feel like, oh, if I put this stuff out of sight, I'm going to forget about it, then keep a file drawer for paperwork. Put a note to yourself in your to-do list about where to go to get the necessary paperwork or that email that you're ready to work on. But while you're working on something else, get it out of sight. Okay. I've got a whole 4-part series in my coaching program on physical clutter, going through every room of your house, including your office, how to get over the overwhelm, where to start, what to do. And then we also have trainings on digital clutter, your emails and all that. So if you're interested in finding out more about my coaching program, then let me know and I'll jump on Zoom with you and we can chat about it. But know your resistance quotient. Discover what you're resisting when you are getting distracted and when you're procrastinating and you're doing stuff instead of your work. Be aware of that. Stop self-sabotaging your success and getting in your own way. There's several things that you can do to help with that. One is to learn how to say no. Just say no without guilt. A lot of times we're trying to please somebody else and we end up with too much on our plates. And when you're feeling overwhelmed, look at the people and projects that you've said yes to. Maybe you should have said no. And look at your to-do list and ask yourself simply, is there anything that I can say no to on this list? Remember, you're in control of your task list. You're in control of your calendar. You're the only one who can overbook yourself. So only you can say no to requests for your time. And so that's something, I have a whole training on that about being overcommitted. But that's something you need to be aware of. And again, get rid of that visual clutter, clear your desk. There's no better feeling than starting fresh and getting a complete handle on everything that needs to be done. Go through every paper, every pile, every note, consolidate, prioritize, use your centralized to-do list, and throw away all those little giblets of paper, the little Post-it notes and little individual to-do notes. Put it all on one central list. Okay, another tip for overcoming overwhelm. Ask yourself what's most important. Each morning when you sit down at your desk, ask yourself, what are the most important tasks to get done today? Now, ideally, these would have been planned the day before and they're sitting right there in front of you. But make a careful balance about short-term emergencies and long-term tasks so you can meet your goals without getting swept up in all the daily urgent things. Think about doing things that are important over doing things that are urgent. Another tip, I don't know if you call this a tip, but it's more of an encouragement. Just do it. That's what helps me sometimes. Sometimes you just have to get over that discomfort of getting started and just make a commitment to get going on things, get things done. Is it a doctor appointment that you need to make and you just don't want to make the phone call? Just do it. Do it. Is it having a hard conversation with a disgruntled employee? Do it. That will get worse if you don't handle it right away. Is it a blog post you told somebody you'd write for them? Do it. Whatever it is, just do it. And every day, if you can do one thing that you really didn't want to do, it starts to build your confidence, and it gets a little easier. And keep in mind, some projects were never meant to be. You can take some things off your list. You can throw catalogs away. You can throw magazines away. You can throw junk mail away. You can delete emails. It's okay. Now, along with like throwing stuff away, some things need to be delegated. You've got to get into the habit of asking for help. Look at all those tasks you do, and for each one, you ask yourself, am I the only person who can do this task in the entire world? Some tasks are just your own thing, and nobody else can do it. But others can be delegated. That's something that I'm working on. I'm going to be honest. Right now, I don't have a regular VA, virtual assistant, but you can hire someone a website designer, a graphic artist, an administrative assistant. You can do that fairly inexpensively. And sometimes the return on investment is there because of how it frees you up to do the things you're really good at. Work for results. Which things are you currently doing that are giving you the results that you want? Keep doing those things. Stop wasting time on things that don't give you the outcomes you want. If you're in business, then you need to make money to stay in business, right? So quit wasting time on non-revenue producing activities that somebody else could do for you. And, even if other people tell you that you have to do something, stop listening to all the gurus and start listening to your own brain, your own experience. The only thing that matters is whether you're creating the outcomes that you want. That's really important. And you've got to get into task habits. This is another tip. Get into task habits. For instance, maybe the first thing you do each morning is set aside 15 minutes to handle emails from clients or students from your courses or whatever. And then maybe you do 15 minutes of social media and then you cut it off. Because those are two different parts of your brain. Then you might look at financial things, then you might prep for a training you're going to do or something like that. So all of those things are very different parts of your brain that you're using, and it kind of warms up your brain and it allows you to get into get it into gear before the main part of your day. Each afternoon before I stop for the day, I plan my projects and tasks for the next day. I answer any last minute emails. I straighten my desk. I clear the clutter. Having task habits each day allows you to get to the important daily tasks and get them done in an orderly way. You got to create kind of a little routine for yourself. And when you're thinking about your schedule, think about it in terms of like kind of chunks. Some people call it time blocking. Do you have a scheduled time each week for marketing, for administrative work, for speaking to clients? If you block out scheduled time each week for different parts of your work, then you're going to know that you have a plan for how to tackle that work. For instance, some people use all day Friday to write or create, and they don't take any appointments those days. It's kind of a catch-up admin day. I do on Mondays is when I do this live teaching or recorded teachings and coach my clients and things like that. So you kind of have to have a rhythm and a flow. So what does your ideal work week look like? Now, another tip Karen suggests is OMD. That means off my desk. Make a concerted effort to handle each item that comes across your desk one time. Don't stack it in a pile and think I'll get back to it later. Each morning, make a clean sweep of your desk. You can even say to yourself, off my desk, off my desk, off my desk. Okay. So I've got a lot more tips to share with you, but I hope these were helpful. This is part one. I've got about 20 more tips next week. And so if you found these helpful, I would love for you to share these videos with your friends. And again, I want to invite you to Distraction to Action, which is Thursday. And I'll put all the information and the link to join in the chat. And if you're watching this and you don't see that link on whatever platform you're watching on, just email me at Cindy Baker Coaching. So I hope you're going to have a great rest of your day, and I want you to have a great week. And I wish you all of the productivity and success in your business.